Do you agree with Lindsey Graham that Donald Trump has something different in his heart on immigration than Stephen Miller?
I think we've made a big mistake in recent years, Nicole, trying to analyze what's in people's hearts. Frankly, I don't care what's in Donald Trump's heart. I care about the outcome. I care what comes out of his mouth. And for somebody who began his campaign talking about the rapists and the murderers coming across the border, saying someone was disqualified from service on the federal bench because they were of Mexican descent, from the Muslim ban to the moral travesty of Charlottesville, over and over again, including the release this weekend of an ad where Team Trump has fully embraced and embodied the spirit of George Wallace from 1968 with its race-baiting anti-Mexico ad. And I think Republicans would be well-served to study the races that we're familiar with from earlier in our careers in California, where the Republican Party went from the majority party to the minority party on the basis of a race-baiting Proposition 187 anti-immigrant campaign. And so 187. And so now, these many years later, the Republican Party in the state of California is smaller than decline to stay registrations. And demographically, what we're facing here is we have two issues that led to this imbecilic government shutdown, both supported by roughly 90% of the American people. 90% of the country says let the dreamers stay, and 90% of the country, including the Republicans who conceived of the Children's Health Insurance Program, say let's pass that too. Why is the government shutting down on two issues that 90% of the American people all support, and on both of them have bipartisan support? Just incredible ineptitude in the ministerial managements of government by the majority party. Just extraordinary. And it makes us look like a banana republic from abroad. And not for nothing, it does bear mentioning that the defense secretary said in this madness, I can't run the Defense Department like this. Our force readiness is being hurt in a very dangerous world.
Yeah, Hans Nichols was at the Pentagon parking lot watching it empty out this morning, which was a troubling thought for a country with so many threats here and around the world. Charlie Sykes, Steve used the word race baiting, but you used a different word for this ad. We're not going to play it. We've made an editorial decision that the ad in of itself is too offensive, but we'll put up some of the video from it. You called the ad something else. You compared it to what?
Well, I mean, it really is a flashback to the Willie Horton type ads. In fact, I think it goes beyond the Willie Horton type ad. But this was the Republican message. This was the Trump message over the weekend. And that pivot from talking about dreamers, you know, they stopped talking about dreamers and they began talking about illegals. And then they began talking about illegals who committed crime. And then it's illegals who murder people. I mean, this is the way they framed this issue. And yes, they did have that kind of message discipline. And so they really did put the Democrats in the box here, you know, when they said you are siding with illegal immigrants who might kill people versus, you know, the American government, the American people, the American military. That is exactly the way a Steve Bannon would like to frame this. This is exactly the way Trump has framed this immigration issue, going back to that original speech where he launched his campaign